Loading snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. I got the homie Marcus, and you know what that means. It's time for another edition of the Finisher Podcast.
Finisher.
Episode 16. We keep making we making waves, making moves. We got to keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing this. Eventually, we're gonna get to like 50, and we're gonna get to like 100. It's gonna be a milestone. But we gotta take baby steps in order to get to us. But how you doing tonight, Marcus?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready. I'm relaxed. I'm chill. Like a lot of wild stuff has happened in the wrestling world these last like 2 days, 3 days. So, I'm just going with the flow now.
I dig it. I dig it. You guys know we're here to talk about wrestling. Things have been happening like left and right because we're in WrestleMania season. So it's that time. We've gotten past Elimination Chamber. So now we're going to start having a little bit of WrestleMania talks. Like they're going to be involved in a couple of these shows. So expect that. But make sure, main thing, make sure you guys go to the Beacons League, beacons.ai/loading snacks, so you can keep up on everything that Loading Snacks is doing. It'll give you the link directly to the wrestling channel on Facebook that you can join us in there, continue and have some of these conversations that we do from there. And just keep up with everything we're doing. If you want to listen to this audio, has the link inside of there as well too. But we just want to make sure you guys can be a part of this journey as we go along. Like we just came out of BlurCon. It was a lot of wrestling involved stuff that we did at BlurCon. Top 10 wrestlers of all time. Boy, that was a good time.
That was a interesting chain of events during that panel at
Very,
BurlerCon this past weekend.
very
All I'm gonna
interesting.
say is what's wrong with some of you people?
Listen, I feel like we had more than 50 minutes. I feel like we could have probably gotten a little bit more out of it. Like I'm not too mad at the top. The top 5 I think were solid. I gotta go back. Like I think the top 5 were solid. You guys stay tuned. We're editing all the content and stuff that we have from BlurCon, so that the whole entire panel will be available soon for you guys to be able to tune in and actually take a look at that. We were part of Dr. D's panel. That was as usual. The dream, like that joint is always the dream panel is always amazing. Like I love the energy, the vibes, everything that we get out of that. Shout out Black Wrestling Podcast, doing their thing up there, amazing. But like I'm ready to get in and us having some conversation about some wrestling right now. You good with
Good
that,
old
Marcus?
fashioned wrestling. Let's go. Let's get it.
Dig it.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to go ahead now because we're only gonna have a couple episodes in between now and WrestleMania. So we are now in peak season time now. Elimination Chamber has come and gone. We've gotten some matches. We now know a few matches that are intact that we are getting for WrestleMania. And there have been some title changes that honestly I wasn't expecting like right now up until probably Mania. But let's just quickly before we start talking about a few of those matches. Overall, how are you feeling currently now with some of these builds that we're getting to right now? With some of the matches that we're seeing, they haven't been like officially announced yet, but we know some changes, definitely with the way things are going, are going to be put into place. How are we feeling about this build so far towards WrestleMania?
I feel as though there are a couple stories that are more fleshed out than others where I can see them doing a swerve here and there as we get closer to WrestleMania just to
Mm-hmm.
keep everyone on their toes. So everyone in the dirt sheets looks silly. I feel like then there are others that are kind of this is a okay change. I'm not mad, but I'm not happy or sad about it. I'm kind of indifferent. I'll just wait to see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have uh, another change where it's just like, well, either way, it's what's best for business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much my thought process on these recent title changes going into WrestleMania. and the scope of like the overarching stories that some of them are intertwining to become.
Hmm. Gotcha. Um, right now, with the way things are, I'm okay. Uh, Obviously, the main two matches, at least on the men's side, the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship, we have those matches in place and intact. I don't see those matches changing. I think those two are pretty much set in stone. No changes to be so. Obviously, and we're going to talk about John Cena before we get too far. But Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, Gunther and Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think these matches are straightforward. John Cena won the Elimination Chamber. We got that heel turn.
Yep.
Like, I'm. Oh, that's gonna be a whole discussion.
Hey, just remember
Uh,
that we got a heel Rock and a heel Cena all before GTA 6.
Listen, heel Rock. I can see that I could have seen from a mile away. Like that. But the heel Cena thing, they finally pulled that trigger, and boy, oh boy, did it have some impact. Um, Outside of that, we know as of now, Io Sky and Bianca Belair are going to be fighting for the women's championship. Um, Now, let's slowly move this back because just within the last few weeks, Rhea Ripley was our champion.
Yes, she
And
was.
and listen, I was amped for Rhea versus Bianca. For some reason, I don't know why that match is like. I feel like they've wrestled at least once, but I feel
In
like
NXT.
yeah, but we've been waiting to see the two of them collide for a long time now. And I'm going to say the rug has kind of been pulled from underneath of us. Somehow, I don't know how just yet. That match is going to become a triple threat. I don't know if it's going to be Rhea trying to try for the rematch clause or how we're going to play this. I feel like EO is just going to be EO is like, listen, I think both of y'all deserve this. I'm gonna give y'all both a shot at WrestleMania. Um, that's the only one right now that's a little weird, unless somehow with the whole Jade thing and the Naomi, I don't know if somehow Bianca's going to be pulled out of out of this match. I hope not, but somehow I feel like whether
I
it
can
is,
see her giving up her spot to Jade because she's a face.
I don't want that right now. I don't need her. I do not want her to just give up that shot to Jade. Listen, by all means, Jade's doing better. I know a lot of people still don't like the presentation that they're doing with Jade. I've been okay with it up till now. Obviously, she was out for I would almost say 2 months. I feel like because it was a good while
It's
with
about
this
two
going
and
on,
some change. I think
like
two and
two.
some change.
So
At least that's
I'm
what it feels like.
I'm kind of good with them just leaning in the Naomi Jade thing. Like at this point, the two of them are fighting at WrestleMania. Um, is what it seems like now. If Bianca ends up
Bloodline
turning,
rules match.
if Naomi, I mean Bianca somehow becomes the mastermind in all of this, because like Bianca did go to social media and very much so stressed the fact that you know I
She
told
had
y'all it
nothing to
wasn't
do
me.
with it.
Like I don't know, her character seemed a little bit different when she
I mean,
she's
at the
flip
end of
she's
the
flipping the
day,
birds.
Rikishi didn't do it for The Rock. He did it for Triple H. So
So I'm interested to see where they go with that. But yeah, definitely we're looking at a triple. At this point, I think we're getting a triple threat match. It's just the way right now of how we are going to work Rhea back into this. I don't know exactly how we do that. Like what do you think? How do you think we
I
get her
think
in the match?
so. There's only a few more weeks. Well, it's not a few, but it's a good chunk of weeks left until WrestleMania, and I foresee them turning Rhea back heel
Mm. Hmm.
instead of being a face and let her lean into like that heel esque persona because right now she's currently being cheered and booed like John Cena.
Hmm. Interesting.
So instead of them turning Bianca heel, which will probably be like the best thing for her character development,
Hmm.
they'll just allow Rhea to go heel solo. Kind of like a not a revenge tour type thing, but
Hmm.
more so like I need to be back up here to where I was before I was injured. Before Live, all of that shenanigans. This is who I am. This is where I need to be. I need to refocus. So I can see them like her interfering in more matches and then going to Adam Pearce and be like, hey, like I'm tired of everyone interfering in my matches. Put me in the main event.
Hmm. Okay, could be a way for it. Um, I don't know if we'll send her the heel route just yet. I feel like there's more good, more cheers for Rhea than the boos. So I don't think we'll pull that trigger just yet. Maybe after Mania, but I think with her after the whole Judgment Day thing, I think they're going to keep her face for a good little while now. Um,
It's either that or she gets moved to SmackDown.
hey, listen, that could be a thing afterwards. I don't see her moving beforehand. Shifting the landscape up. Um, I do think EO will probably have a little bit extra backup. Like I feel like, and I know me and Sin had this was that me and Sin, or I feel like actually with somebody at work we having this conversation that Damage Control is probably going to get a new member, and it seems like I think they're going to end up pulling Julia up sooner than we thought. After what we're looking at from what happened in NXT this past week, and Julia, of course, losing her championship, and Stephanie's now double champion. That's a whole nother conversation that we'll have a little bit later on.
Yep.
Um, but
But I see them putting her on SmackDown
mhm.
instead of Raw.
I think Raw is going to get a major shakeup once we get past
Now
Mania.
Stephanie on Raw makes sense.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
I
we'll
can
get a.
I can see her on Raw, but Julia I think definitely has a home on SmackDown.
I can see that. Um, we'll shift gears. I don't think we need to stay on this one too long. Jay and Gunther
Going to be a
uh,
certified banger.
should be a solid match. Listen, Jay Uso should walk out. And listen, if Jay Uso don't walk as
Yo, if
champion,
my man Jay don't win this World Heavyweight Championship, bruh,
I'm gonna be a little bit
riots,
upset. Like right now,
riots will happen.
Jay is near. I don't want to say is nearing the pinnacle of what his character could be, but with that World Heavyweight Championship attached to him, my man will be at that top of the mountain and definitely could set us up for some other internal bloodline type things once again with him as champion. Um, I don't think we'll go back to the whole, at least with him, the whole tribal chief and him potentially being in that spot because he's champion. I don't think we'll get
I
to
don't think
actually.
like he'll go to that tribal chief, tribal champion type
Mm-hmm,
role. What I see them doing is he should win, and just like Cody, be a super baby face. He
mm-hmm.
can do all the stuff that was required as a face champion that Gunther is not doing, and then we can tee up for a slow burn Cody Lander
Type of thing.
type build.
We shall
That's what I
see.
want.
Like
It's not going to happen, but
yeah,
that's what I want.
I know everyone is thinking that we're gonna start to see like the evil Cody come out. Now, hey, listen, I do think he's gonna lose at Mania to John Cena. I do think Cody is gonna lose
He's on
in
a
this.
losing streak at WrestleMania too.
So, well, hey, he won. He won the one that mattered this time that he needed to. But I see him losing, and maybe I don't know whether that anger comes out and we start to see. The problem with it is turning Cody heel, you gotta have somebody that can still be that face. So obviously Jay can fill the gap. So if we end up or switching it on shows, and so the face now is going to be on Raw, the heel is going to be on SmackDown. Because that's the way it's looking. Like if John Cena becomes champion, he's going to be on SmackDown. But I do feel like with the shakeup, probably afterwards, they may end up moving the WWE Championship back to Raw. Because I don't see them. I don't see him and Jay potentially switching championships just
So
like that.
here's the main question, right? In the beginning of all of this, John stated that this is a goodwill farewell tour
Mm-hmm.
going into the end of next December.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work if he becomes 17-time WWE champion?
Oh, he's going to defend it. It's there's no two. Hey, listen, he wins that championship. I hate to say this, but it will kind of be like how Roman and
Roman,
Brock were. Yeah, where we're not gonna see him on a weekly basis on the show with the championship. We'll see him every so few weeks, especially with them in between doing movies or whatever. Maybe and there's a part of me that's upset about it. There's a part that I'm not so upset because with him with the championship off of TV, this is going to also give us the opportunity to have others be at the forefront of certain things. So it's a twofold. Like I would like to see Cena be here with that belt.
we say that was the same thing that we thought with Brian Danielson,
Mm-hmm.
and he just up and retired. Like he just straight was like, no. After the belt is dropped, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is within the heel John Cena's character.
I don't think so. I just think for Brian, I think that for health reason, he just had to do that. It was like because from what it seemed like, he's kind of he was on borrowed time because one more wrong injury or something that happened, and he was probably going to be in a bad position. So I think for him that one was a little bit different. I don't see Cena just winning the title and dropping it, especially because they've already, like you said, they've already announced he's going through at least December. So he's gonna be on probably the major shows, major pay per views that they'll have lined up. If they have a couple international ones, so I know,
He'll definitely be at the
um,
international.
yeah, I know with like
Majority of the international ones.
Perth potentially becoming a thing once again. Crown Jewel or whatever one we end up using in Saudi. There's no way that you don't have John Cena, your champion, show up on those shows. So
Should he still be should he actually become 17-time champion?
listen, he's getting 17. Like as much as I know we say that Ric Flair should just they should just stay tied. They should maintain. If anyone were to do it at this point, John Cena, I feel like is the one to do it. Don't get me wrong. There's a Randy is the next closest person that's still active that could potentially do it, but I don't see him winning another. I think he's what like he would be like six behind. I think at that point
Yeah,
it
something
would
like that.
he would literally have to win the belt, lose it the next night, get it back like a month late. Like the amount of times he would have to flip flop with the championship. Don't get me wrong, Randy still got a good amount of time. I feel like physically wise that he can contribute to the company. Um,
I think the angle that we're overlooking is a Randy Orton heel turn.
which could be. I think with the way that everybody else is going, I don't think he'll do it just yet. Maybe until I don't know who would be the person that you would put him up against, other than him going, after Jay and create. I don't know exactly, but I would like to see one more heel Orton run. Before that, and speaking of Orton, we're talking about this. Where are we looking with him right now? Probably Kevin Owens. I think at this point we're
Yeah,
probably.
an unbanned finisher, no pun intended, match.
I think that's where we're looking at probably for Mania is Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, which I think will be solid.
Yep.
Um, the punt will
I feel like
return.
that's a night 2 type of match, but they may swerve it and put it on a night 1.
I think that would be a night one kind of that's you could get the show started with that. I feel like that match is going to be excellent. That'd be a good way to get people engaged, involved with everything. I think that's a good way to start your show. Um,
I actually think it's going to be Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton to open up the show.
to open up the show.
I'm sorry, son, but
Your
I don't
problem,
see Charlotte versus Tiffany as like closer to the end of the card. If it happens,
mm,
cool, but I don't see it personally. It's either the beginning or it's like right before like the mid transition.
yeah, because them her defending the women's championship. Yeah, because you're gonna put the. I doubt like they're not gonna put the world championship and the women's WWE championship on the same night. That would just be weird. So that could one of those could definitely open the show, and I think one will end up in the middle somewhere. Um, I don't know if I'm really amped for that match as much. Like Charlotte does what Charlotte's supposed to do. She like the character's supposed to be hated. I hate the character. Like I just, but
It's
I
because it's Charlotte in the match. If it was someone else, probably would be more
hey,
interested.
listen, we already knew how that was gonna go in the Rumble.
Exactly.
The moment that her vignette showed up on screen and she was entering the Rumble, we was like, oh, it's over. She's winning.
Yep. Here we go again.
We already said
Break,
that.
making another run at the title. Hopefully she loses. Please God, please
I
lose.
don't think so. Um, Next we're looking at potentially, I think AJ and Logan. Looks like we're setting that up. Um, Honestly, could that match could be very interesting. Um, I've said this numerous times. As much as people hate Logan Paul, like I like Logan. I respect how he has come in, and he's just a natural heel. It's gonna there's I don't know how you would make Logan Paul a face ever.
You can't.
Like I don't think that'll ever
You
happen.
like people will all have to have amnesia at the exact same time for this man to be a face.
But I think AJ versus Logan could be a very interesting go around. Um, I think AJ needs to win a little bit more. I think Logan can do what he can do. I think he'll end up back fighting like LA Knight or something again for like the United States Championship. Um, I know at some point I can see Logan versus Jay Uso. I can see that match actually becoming the thing. I know a lot of people probably don't want to
Don't
see that,
talk it into existence because it
but
does not need to happen.
realistically, if let's say Gunther did win, Gunther versus Logan ain't happening. It's not. It ain't believable. Jay versus Logan is very believable in my book. Um, and it just depends on how they go. Like I think AJ needs that win, but I feel like Logan may get a win over AJ Styles, which would be
All I need from that match is this man to do a Timu bug shot and ends up in a calf crusher. That's all I need to see, and I'll be like, I'm done.
so that's another one that's out there. Who else we got? Oh, obviously we talked briefly. Jade versus Naomi. Uh, Pretty sure that's going to end up making it somehow. Whether that is a no DQ type thing, I feel like that story's got a little bit more that's going to be involved that we're going to get to before we even make it to Mania. We'll see how that pans out. Um, After the end of Raw this past week, we're looking like we're probably going to get a triple threat match between Punk, Seth, and Roman.
That's the
Uh,
second match. Not this. Let me rephrase that. That is the second to last match of night two, whichever night Cody is going against John Cena. If not, that is the end of whatever night is not John Cena versus
to
Cody.
do for yeah, could be.
Actually, yeah, it makes sense. It's the second to last match because you have Gunther versus Jay,
Mm-hmm.
definitely the main event of one night. And then you have John Cena versus Cody, definitely the main event of whatever night. Unless for some reason Cody's just like, you know what? Let's let this match cook. But I don't see that being a thing.
Could be depending on the way things go. Um, Who else will? But that like, but
Because
I'm just
I'm pretty
eager to.
sure there won't be Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
No, we'll get an Intercontinental Championship match. I'm
I
gonna be
do
real.
not. I do not see Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor at WrestleMania. I don't see it.
It could happen because here's I'm gonna be honest with you. Uh, with the way the belts have been, there's a chance Finn may win this next week. Finn wins it, which should set up Finn versus Braun for the rematch at Mania. But somehow I feel like Dom weasels his way into it, and then we get this triple threat with Finn, Dom, and Braun. And I think this is the way that we figure out how they're going to kick out Finn from the Judgment Day, because clearly they're getting a new member. They've been alluding for the last few weeks now. Um,
And we've been seeing Dom talk to Ludwig in the background, even though he's Imperium. Well, is Imperium, but they kind of been teeing up like Dom is asking all these people in the background all these interviews.
I don't think Ludwig, like, to me, that's, don't get me wrong. I know they want, if they put him as the leader, he just takes over. I know this is kind of for him to go after Gunther to be like, listen, I did my own thing, but Gunther's gonna be like, listen, you didn't put that group together. You just came in and took over. Like, I don't think they're gonna do that. Whoever the next member they're gonna add into Judgment Day is gonna be someone. I want it to be someone that fits that mold a little bit better. Like right now, Carlito is just taking up space. I love Carlito. But he just does not fit the mold for the Judgment Day. He's great comic relief, but he just does not fit the mold for the Judgment Day. I don't. In the beginning, I thought we were going to do something, but no, he's just comic relief at this point.
I think it's going to
Um,
be JD. JD comes back.
they said new, but he could he could make it in time for Mania possibly. I feel like, but because he did he have fractured or broken ribs? I don't remember which one. I think they just said
Yeah,
it was fractured ribs and the punctured lung, and fractured ribs normally a few weeks. Punctured lung, I feel like is about in the same boat with that as well too. So I think he could be primed to show back up in Mania. But I think this is how we're gonna get Finn out of the Judgment Day. We get a championship on Dom and get some gold back in the Judgment Day. Um, it could be interesting. Like I feel like that one's just going to create more of a story, more storylines to go through afterwards. Um, L.A. Knight, like we'll switch to the United States Championship. He just won it off of Shinsuke,
which
which
was like the most random thing ever.
so we could potentially be saying there's a lot of triple threat things seem like they're going to be happening this year for Mania. Like I feel like some extra piece is going to get thrown into that. Now I don't know if Shinsuke's about to go back and do some Japan work potentially, because it's just for him to just have it drop like that. Like I don't know. I like what they were doing with the whole Shogun thing, but I feel like they weren't doing enough with it.
Yeah, they didn't lean into it like how like it's kind of like the Wyatt Six. It's like they leaned into it and then they
Mm-hmm.
took their foot off the gas. I feel like that's what they did with Shinsuke. It's just like, oh, like this is cool, this is hot, everyone is enjoying it. He's getting reactions, he's getting pops, he's getting all of this, he's getting booze. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just like, oh well, let's focus on this over here. He can pretty much do what we tell him to over there, but we don't have
Mm-hmm.
to like put as much effort into it because we already know it's going to get a reaction.
Yeah. Um, Not sure about the tag team championship right now. Like,
Which ones?
oh, well, I guess we do need to do both. Honestly, both sides. Like, I feel like as much as we've gotten actual solid tag teams, I feel like the tag team thing has been a little shaky again.
I think
Like,
we'll get another. I think we'll get a fatal four way or a ladder match
Mm.
for the tag team titles, and the Street Profits come out on top.
I would like to see that. I think we will see that happen on the World Tag Team Championship. I gotta break this down. So DIY. I feel like we would see it on that side. DIY, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, and
Mo-
who's the Motor
Motor
City
City Machine.
Machine and Motor City Machine Guns. That's got the potential to be a very very solid four-way tag. Now I don't know if they would go the links to end up making it like a TLC match. Like I feel like we are far enough removed from the TLC pay per view that we could potentially make a TLC match actually mean something truly again.
Yep.
So I feel like this would be, I guess you say, the new generation stepping into those shoes to try to fill it. Um, and I think with the four of those teams, I think we could have a very good experience with it. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we're going to see no crazy Jeff Hardy type elements to the match, but
I mean, Montez Ford is pretty crazy.
I think he'll do something. I don't think he'll get Jeff Hardy crazy with it.
And then who are the tag champs on? Oh,
Thinking
Viking. I'm sorry.
War
I'm
Raiders,
sorry. War
War
Raiders
Raiders.
again.
I know the name thing is still. I right now I don't even know. I honestly don't have a care right now, and that's the problem. Like that's the issue right now that we're having in the tag. Like I just don't. I don't
I
care.
think they is Alpha Academy on Raw still.
Alpha Academy. You know what? I think you may have hit the Creed brothers. I think you may have just hit that. I think you may have hit the
Yeah, I
nail on the
think
head
like
there.
it's time for the Creed brothers to have gold, so that way, and they have to win doing a lucha move.
Yeah, with that whole entire segment from this past week, the whole lucha, the random luchador that showed up with the American made mask on that apparently wasn't Chad Gable.
It was clearly Chad Gable outside of the ring, and he just swapped clothes because he lost security.
Oh man.
It's probably one of the Creed brothers.
But right now, so that's kind of where we're at. Like
And then the women's
women's, yeah,
tag team is just up in the air.
yeah, that's up in the air. Uh Chelsea Green definitely will end up defending her. If hopefully she'll still have it, because she's defending her U.S. Championship on NXT next week. So I hope she'll still have it by the time
No,
we
she's
get to.
definitely going to still have it because what's her face? Isla Dawn? No, Alba Fire. Which one
Mm-hmm.
is it?
Alba Fire.
Alba Fire is part of her security detail now,
Mm-hmm.
so she got her on Piper Niven. She good. She good for another like 3 to 6 months, unless there's like a heel turn. She's good.
Uh, Lyra will defend the Intercontinental Championship. Not sure quite where we're at. I don't know who quite we would be potentially doing that. I feel like that's gotta be polished a little bit more. I feel like
Probably going to be Bailey
I can see Bailey. I
because
can
I
see Bailey.
can't. Or Dakota. Dakota will be a nice change of pace because
Dakota.
they're not really doing much with Lyra right now anyway, as far as like storytelling for her championship.
Yeah, it's like we got the championship, and like Chelsea Green right now is doing the thing. Like the character selling, like everything she's doing is making. She's currently
Like if you
doing.
could tell me my favorite feud of the United States Women's Championship, it's definitely Mia Yim Michin versus Chelsea Green
I mean,
in
that's
a
the only.
dumpster match.
Hey, listen, right now Chelsea Green is doing for the United States Championship. I would say the Miz can do for the Intercontinental Championship when he has it. I feel like she's in her zone right now with it until we get past Mania, and then eventually getting her into one of the main women championship pictures. I would like to see her have it at least once, but
Yeah, one time for the one time.
But I think we'll wrap up my set because I know we could go on love it. Like there's a lot of moving elements that are still in place. Um,
Oh, you know what? It could be Becky Lynch
Returning Becky Lynch,
for against Lyra Valkyria. Lyra, I can see
they
that.
they gonna do the same thing she did to Bianca and just show up, have the match, and they don't. I don't want to see that. Don't do that. Becky can definitely have a shot, but don't let that match play out. Um, but definitely, we are starting to see matches being sewn together, but there's been a couple wrenches thrown. Like championships already switching hands only a couple weeks out. I'm kind of like, wow. Um, but
I
if we're
wonder if that's
gonna,
because maybe like Shinsuke isn't going to Brussels.
and they just wanted to get the belt on LA Knight so he could just defend it there. It's possible, but I don't know. But that's I think that about does it for right now. Like after we're running into it, but we just wanted to throw out and just have a little conversation. Overall, I'm okay with where we're going right now, but from the way the card is going, like I'm about I'm at like a 70 out of 100. We definitely need a little bit more because obviously rocking Cody, I'm expecting that to go. That match is going to be full of shenanigans. It's probably going to be as bad as what they did last year. I swear to. And now, hey, listen. Now the Undertaker has another reason to show up randomly in the match if The Rock shows up again. Like that joint is just so random. Unless somehow we are trying to set up The Rock versus the Undertaker. I don't need that now.
Now what they're teeing up is Rock versus Stone Cold.
Hey, listen, I don't.
Oh,
I went into the Kevin Owens Stone Cold match with mid expectations and was actually happy with what Stone Cold did in that match versus KO. And if that was to be his last match, I'm actually pretty cool with that. As much as Austin versus The Rock, for that headline to see it once more, I'm good with foregoing it. I'm good if Austin shows up and just stuns somebody to just keep them
you know what's sad? It's that Sting is retired. This will be a prime moment for like an old crow Sting just to come down, hit the Rock with a bat, leave. Like that would be wild.
to do. Yeah, I think
But
yeah
it's
that's
it's not. It's
too
never going to happen now.
too far gone at this point. But yeah, we'll definitely have more conversations. Obviously, Mania is getting the prediction show. It's just gonna be too big of a thing for us to not do a prediction show. So once we have hopefully all the matches, at least a week out, we should be able to do that for it. But
Oh, and if y'all want us to do it in this type of format as a podcast, type it in the comments. Or if you want us to do it live, type that in the comments. And also,
yeah,
don't forget, going to next week, Raw in the United States starts at 3 p.m. EST. So if you don't have Netflix or you don't have a VPN, I don't know what to tell you. Get good.
you're getting everything is gonna get spoiled. Both Raw and SmackDown, they're not airing at their normal time. So you gotta be up on it. Otherwise, you're getting spoiled. I was for me and Marcus at least. I know we're gonna be a little bit more fine tuned in his sin. Is not he's gonna try his hardest to avoid spoilers, but there's just no way we're not gonna be able to talk about it because certain things are probably gonna happen.
Yep.
But that's a good part of WrestleMania. I think we'll come back and maybe talk about some of our favorite WrestleMania moments for the next time. But Marcus, what do you got?
Uh, I think we pretty much touched on everything. We just went straight into like WrestleMania, like pseudo predictions of matches. I would say I expect, or I would like the women's division to be showcased
Mm-hmm.
adequately in these next couple weeks going into WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to lean more into the Wyatt Six Alexa Bliss
Mm-hmm.
in a more concrete way. Um, I want them to flesh out Lyra's character more to make at least allow her to talk, have some sort of mic time, so that way they can tee up why she's a champion, why she's called up to the main roster, why she has this championship. Chelsea Green is going to be Chelsea Green. It's enough said. I don't have to say anything about that. Um, the women's tag team division, uh, still pretty much non-existent. Um, yeah, they need to fix that like a month ago, a year ago. They need to get on that. Um, Definitely interested to see how this Jade and Bianca and Naomi
Mm-hmm.
relationship is going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to flesh that out all the way. And um, there's a lot of rising stars in female stars that's coming up in WWE. So hey, if you can bring up all these people, make sure you have fully developed all their skills so that way they're just not sitting in the back in catering. Because then what was
Understood.
the point?
Yeah, we gotta get that back down pat, especially the women's tag team championships. Like,
Like the men's storylines gonna be what they are regardless of whatever stuff is going to happen, but the women's division definitely needs to be nurtured better. That is that's it. Just nurture it, care for it, let it grow.
I dig that. I dig that. Um, and obviously, Mania's gonna be here really quick, and then we once again will hit that reset button and go from there. So like, I love when we get the fresh slate and we can kind of start things anew once again. Some feuds will bleed over a little bit, but we'll definitely be able to create some new stuff. And obviously, we'll start throwing in NXT stars. We're definitely going to be seeing some moving there, possibly right before Mania. Um, but I'm eager to see how that goes. Um, yeah. Other than that, anything else you got for the main part, or you think you're good on this side, Marcus?
I think we're good. I think we're 42 minutes in, so we're at our cutoff
Listen,
point anyway.
Mania does that. So we're definitely going to be drawing a little bit more of Mania focusing over this next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're going to see a couple collaborations that we're working on right now. But as of now, we are full gear. Pun not no pun intended. Full gear heading to WrestleMania. We only got a couple of Raw and SmackDowns in between there. Um, Craziness has been occurring. We'll see what'll happen. Let us know what you guys think. How do you currently feel about the few matches that we have on the card? The matches that are potentially being set up for us? And what is it that you potentially are looking for to happen at Mania this year? Go ahead, let us know in the comments. Um, Much appreciated as usual. If you guys are listening, you guys are watching, however you're consuming this, we greatly appreciate you being a part of this. We're going to continue and do more things. Let us know some things you want to hear us talk about. Because after Mania, maybe we need to hit that reset button to do things a little bit different. Maybe we'll consider that the season 2 version of the show. Um,
Hey, you never know. You may not agree with what we're talking about or our points. Guess what? If you feel that strongly, pull up and show up.
Y'all know where the chat is. Once again, beacons.ai/loading snacks. Go ahead over to the link. You'll find all the loading snacks shenanigans in there. Links to the wrestling chat, links to the anime chat, links to Spoiler Boys. Everything is going to be in there for you guys to be able to consume and keep up with the loading snacks antics. But we're gonna go ahead and shut things down because we gotta talk a little for our Patreon subscribers and give them a little bit of extraness. As usual, if you guys want to hear that conversation, you gotta jump into our Patreon and become a subscriber there for us. Um, but until the next episode of the Finisher Podcast for the homie Marcus, this is your boy Jokes. We will catch you on the next episode.
Bang.
Loading snacks.